I mean, you did a fashion show.
And anywhere below age 9, like all I did was just draw.
I think everybody should create some type of content around their passion. This is so badass. Like, my cousin is extremely talented.
It's fun when they can tell you what they want and then you can make it, and just seeing their face and when they love it, it's great. I remember like telling everyone, I was like, I don't know, I was gonna be a cop one day. No one's gonna take me seriously.
Perfecto. Okay. Let's just get right into it.
Okay.
All right, so when did you start, doing art or fashion or both? Like, when did you first, start doing art?
Art, I remember just like probably like four or 5 years old. And I was literally like always in my room. I didn't really talk that much growing up. Like, well, like, I don't know. I feel like anywhere below age 9, like all I did was just draw really. And I was a quieter kid. And I would just like draw in my room on everything. And I used to draw like the front of CD or like movie boxes. Yeah. And then, I don't know, I'd show my dad and he'd be like, you did that? And then, I don't know, I just kind of stuck with it. And then I would like draw on all the papers, taking notes in class. Like, I was just always doing something, and I just stuck with it, and I got pretty good at it from practicing. And then, yeah, that kind of took off. And then in high school, I did AP art, and then my teacher said I was good at it, so I kept on doing it. And then college, I didn't really get into fashion though until college. And originally I was like a criminal justice major.
Yeah,
I remember like telling everyone, I was like, I don't know, I was gonna be a cop one day. No one's gonna take me seriously. So then I switched and I ended up liking it because I got to draw again. I took a break from art for like a year after high school. And then, I don't know, I got back into it. Fashion was a cool way for me to physically make something. I mean, both are physical, but like touching wise, and like you get to learn new techniques on the sewing machine. And then, I don't know, I ended up just being good at it. So I was like, if I can make money from doing something I'm good at, might as well stick with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're extremely talented with art. And one of the first times I remember, like looking at something you drew and was extremely impressed was actually a picture of me you drew.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you remember that, but it was like a baseball picture of me when I was like 12.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it came about, but I think I asked you to draw it or something like that.
I forgot about that.
And I think I still have it somewhere, but it was just like the detail on it of me throwing a curveball. You could even see with the grip, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I remember that picture.
Yeah, it was me, because I played at Dyer Little League, so it was me on an all-star team when I was 12, just throwing a curveball, and I was like, this is so badass. Like, my cousin is extremely talented. This is so cool. Because, I mean, doing humans and, faces and stuff like that, would you say that's kind of difficult more of like doing like flowers or anything like that?
Like, I think it's just the technique you're using. So I do a lot of realism. Okay. So I like to draw things and make it look exactly how it does in real life.
Got it.
So, I mean, everyone's different. Like, some people can draw cartoons, or some people, paint and use, I don't know, more of an impressionism technique. But I just thought that's just what I knew, and I stuck with it. So, I don't know, it's kind of cool just being able to draw something exactly how it looks. And then, I don't know, you look from a few years ago at some of the stuff I did, and people said it was good, and then you look at the stuff that I did now, but it's just practice. Like, you just keep on practicing and you get better.
Right. So you like to draw things to see how real you can make it, like the realism. Get into like the realism, because I'm kind of really dumb in this.
No, you're.
I don't really understand impressionism or any of that. I know I took an art history class in college and I failed that. So.
Hey, that's okay. Art history's tough, man.
It was the hardest class I think I've ever taken.
It's crazy.
And I was a business major, so it's like I don't understand how I was doing that. But anyways, like realism. So obviously, like that's drawing things
basically
realistic,
like photography level. Like if you take a picture of something, you say draw, I can make it look exactly how it looks.
Okay.
But then I realized that kind of turned me into a insane perfectionist. Like if it didn't look exactly like the picture, I just thought it wasn't good. But then if you show someone else and they're like, wow, that's amazing, because they aren't connected to your work like you are.
Of course.
Like you start seeing everything you do wrong instead of everything you're doing right. So I've kind of been expanding into like painting, because I can't really get all the nitty gritty details that I have to if I were to like use colored pencil or graphite or something like that. So I'm kind of like loosening the reins a little bit.
Right, switching it up, getting into a different genre. Like, have you ever drew, like created something that was like fantasy or like not real, or just like you just use your creativity and this is what came into mind, or is it kind of more of just realism stuff?
I like doing a little bit of everything. Like I don't want to really just have one genre.
Right.
Because I don't know, I feel like being a jack of all trades would be kind of cool.
Of course.
But I have a commission coming up that's not, I don't really know what it is, because I don't know, I think it is some kind of fantasy thing, so I'll be doing a little bit of that, which will be cool because I've never really done anything like that before. But I know I can, it's just not what I post.
Right.
So it's just another experience that will make me better.
Yeah, I mean, switching it up and doing different types of art is only going to make you a better artist.
Yeah.
And I mean, definitely is going to translate into your fashion stuff too. Because I mean, and I want to talk about how you come up with your inspiration for your art, and like do you follow any influencers or artists that you kind of look up to or have? Like, where do you get some inspiration for wanting to like draw a realistic flower or whatever it is?
Honestly, well, I follow a lot of artists on my art account, so I'm always seeing stuff in my feed and you're just being exposed to everything. But I honestly just go for a walk. If I want to, if I want to paint something, like I like painting nature right now, so I'll just go for a walk and I'll take pictures and then I'll draw what I see and then manipulate it a little bit. But I don't know, it's just you find inspiration, I feel like, in everyday life. Like I don't want to just draw what I see from the internet. I want to actually live it, experience it. I'm sounding it like your dad.
Yeah,
like
shout out Bino.
But I don't know.
That's interesting because I love stand-up comedy and I love watching it recently, and you know, I think your answer right there is very similar to pretty much anybody who creates anything, really. Like Sebastian Maniscalco, he'll go out, or Joe Rogan, they say they pick up these things and, you know, they get their jokes from just everyday life experiences. You know, Tom Segura, those type of guys. Artists, I mean, obviously probably have the same type of creative mindset of where they draw their inspiration from, depending on that. What would you say is like, you kind of already hit on it, but like a ritual or routine that you do to get yourself in the mindset of being creative?
So for art, I feel like with art instead of fashion, art's easier for me to get burnt out of.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, it's a different creative side of things, just drawing it and stuff. So if I wake up one day and I'm like, I really just need to draw something, then that's when I draw a bunch of pictures. I'll try to do 3 in a day and document all of them so I have them on my phone and I can post them. But then if I want to make something in fashion, I always have a sketchbook on me, so I'm always doing something. If I have an idea, I'll sketch it out real fast and maybe I'll come back to it. But I watch a lot of runway shows on YouTube, and then I got Vogue Runway on my phone, so you're always seeing the new stuff that people are making. And then in fashion school, like, you were surrounded by creative people all the time, so like you always want to improve your skills and make new things to get better. I don't know, just producing, that's how you get better.
Right, just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Would you say you have like a favorite artist or like favorite fashion designer or brand that you kind of lean into more, or you just kind of like a lot of different things?
Not really the big ones. Like, the people I follow on my creative Instagrams, those people really just are so intelligent with the stuff they come up with. So I try to expose myself a lot to that, because they're actually doing what they want to do and what comes true to them. They're not having someone else tell them, make this and make that. So I don't know, just try to stay on the authentic side of things.
That's interesting. That reminded me of like a previous podcast that I did, and we talked about social media and just getting more authentic, real news.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting now that to see. I think it's more popular for artists, people like yourself, to dig into the solo creators on their own personal accounts, rather than looking at these huge brands that are not really from that person. You know, it's like they don't have the creative ability, not the ability, but like leeway to do what they want to do, right? Compared to branching out on yourself, and this is completely coming from this person. Nobody's manipulating it. There's no agenda.
Yeah.
It's just, this is what they want to do, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like you get probably better quality art rather than if you're trying to push an agenda. And I think it just aligns perfectly with media. You're gonna get people pushing an agenda from a higher power rather than sitting down and having a long form podcast.
Yeah.
So that was just very interesting to see and hear that, like, you lean into more of, the solo creators rather than, I like Fashion Nova or Louis Vuitton
no, Fashion
or
Nova.
whatever the hell. I don't even know art brands, but like any like Gucci, I don't know. Those are just like purse brands, but I don't know. What would you say was your most challenging project that you've created, art or fashion?
Art-wise, probably that mural I did like 5 years ago, I think it was now. But I painted like this huge mural for a client with my friend Grace.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and that one just like took forever. It was hard because it took forever, and we didn't really know what we were going into. Like, we were just like, yeah, we can do it. When we do art, we'll figure it out. And then after we finished it, we were like, whoa, this is sick. Like, it just ended up working out. But that one was, the measurements are probably going to be wrong, but I think it was like 16 by 30 feet or something like that. So it took us like 2.5 months to paint, and we were there from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m, and just grinding it out. But that was probably challenging because that was the first big project we did, commission-wise and just professional-wise, because we worked for my dad that summer.
Right.
So we were just learning a lot then. And then fashion-wise was the wedding dress that I just made in November. But that was cool because I never really got to work one-on-one with a client before like that. So I had like 5 different meetings with her, and I sketched out a ton of dresses, and we kind of chose which ones she wanted together. And it was just a group collab, and it was cool because I got to see what the wedding business was like, and then that stuck with me. So now I'm doing more commissions for weddings, and I don't know,
awesome.
It's kind of cool. I didn't really know what I was getting into, and then you get thrown into
right.
it.
So going off of what you just said there, doing a big project for somebody, like, it looked like you painted a whole wall.
Yeah.
Right? And obviously, so how did that process work of them letting you kind of take the reins in the creativity aspect? Or I know you said you had multiple meetings for the wedding dress, but doing something or building something for somebody else, how did you like communicate with that person to get their creative ideas and you build that, if that makes sense?
For the wall, she had a picture and she was just like, I want this on my wall, can you paint it? And we were like, sure. And so that was pretty easy. But the dress, I think I sketched out like 50 dresses. And when they came over, I was like, well, actually I made a quiz. I forgot I made a quiz figuring out what kind of silhouette and fabric and just what her overall vibe was. And her fiance had a background in fashion because he went to IU for fashion. So he helped a lot during the process. But yeah, I just sketched out a bunch of illustrations and we went over it together and she told me what she liked and what she didn't like. And then I sketched some more and then we narrowed it down to like 3 dresses, I think. And then I bought some swatches of fabric so she could feel it and we figured it out from there. And it just kind of took off. And yeah, it's just a group collab. Like you agree on things and then you disagree on things and you make it perfect. And
that's really cool. I mean, building something like that, having a vision of something that you take from your brain and then just seeing it come into, you know, real life. Like how cool is that for you? And is that a reason why you love art and design, of like taking that vision and, you know, bringing it to real life?
Yeah, I didn't really, when I first started art, I felt like older people, like our parents, would appreciate it a lot more than kids our age did. But now that I'm getting older, like I see why they appreciate it so much, because it's just a cool thing to do and it's cool to be friends with creative people and just see everything that they produce. And I think seeing the end goal is always really fulfilling for me, because surprising myself gets exciting every single time, because I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I could do that, and then it turned out so good. And then you just wonder what else you can do, because there's always more you can do.
One of the artists that always comes to mind when I think of like art or whatever is Bob Ross.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember taking an art class in like 7th grade or whatever, 8th grade before getting to high school, and she would put on these Bob Ross videos, and
he's got some painting techniques.
It's crazy. But you said, this came to thought because you said you like to go out and paint nature and stuff like that. So have you ever like dug into Bob Ross stuff, or like? Yeah,
I've dug into Bob Ross for sure. Well, I started doing nature is kind of new. That's like a whole new found, I don't know,
I think it's just
love
awesome
for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bob Ross he's got some good paintings. I mean, I think it's just fun to paint nature because when I do it, I take the physical picture. So I'm like in it. I'm trying to capture the experience when I'm putting it on, you know, canvas or a piece of paper or whatever. Gotcha. But I think there's just so much you can learn from other people's work. And like art museums, those are awesome. I feel like not enough people go to art museums anymore.
I could say the same.
I swear.
Low key, when I was at Ball State, I'll, you know, go on record saying this, like, I loved going to the art museum.
It's fun.
I loved it. It was like a low-key thing. I was in that art history class, but like I went into the museum and I was just looking around and we had a project I had to do in there, and I was just like, this is fucking cool.
It's insane.
Like you see art from, I don't even know how old it was, but it's extremely old, and it's just like interesting to, you know, get into that artist's mind to see like what they were thinking at that time. I mean, like even like cave drawings or whatever, like it's crazy. Seriously. So I don't know. I think so too. Going to an art museum. I mean, I think it's so cool just to see, artists just doing their thing and being good at it.
And it's cool, art museums, because they didn't have phones really or photography, so literally what they saw was either coming from imagination or a still life and someone sitting in front of them for hours. So, and their skill was insane.
Crazy. Or like the statues.
Yeah.
What is it? Michelangelo, right? Michelangelo building like those huge. I was just like, all right, you need to correct me if I'm wrong here.
No, I don't know. It's just it's so interesting. I went to the Met when I was in New York that one summer. And these paintings and these sculptures and the fashion that they have in there is insane.
So going off of that too, I know you mentioned you like ran a fashion show, or you were like one of the artists designing for a fashion show, I should say. How cool was that to see, and what was that experience like for you?
So that was my final grade in fashion school. So you have, when you're a junior and a senior, you can do 2 shows or you can do 1, but you have to put on 1 show to graduate from fashion school. So that was like our final exam, and that's a pretty cool final exam to have. But so it's really professional. The second semester, you start sketching out all your ideas and you go over that with your professors, and you learn so many different techniques and take different classes to make clothes. And you get to make your own collection with everyone else making their own collection. So it's chaotic, but it's so much fun because everyone's trying to make it the best that they can. And my favorite show is probably my junior year one, the all black collection. Because I only learned how to sew 4 years ago. I had no idea what I was doing. I hated sewing when I first started because it took so long.
It's difficult.
Yeah, it's so hard. Yeah, you know.
I tried.
Seriously.
It didn't turn out well.
It kind of sucks when you first start.
It does.
Like, I did not have fun with it. And then I was like, I got to just keep practicing. Hopefully it'll get easier. And I got faster at it and I got better at it. But the first year I put on a fashion show was the first time I actually made clothes for someone else, not me. And that was hard because not everyone's built the same way.
Right.
So I learned a lot with that. And then my second year show was a lot of fun. I did a ballet theme, and that was more theatrical, more formal. My first year, though, was probably my favorite because I think I advanced my skill so much within 4 months. And yeah, seeing all my friends and family show up for the show was cool too.
That's awesome. I know you got a big family support system there.
We both do.
Oh, of course. Huge families. I think it's just awesome. I mean, even in doing this podcast, I've had on my mom and dad and Lily.
Lily?
And yeah, we did one with Lily. That one was cool to get her perspective and, what she's doing with cosmetology and esthetician stuff too. But just to, get her, mindset on her generation and social media, that was interesting because her high school experience and ours is like
different.
It's totally different ball games now. I mean, like where the world is now, it's ridiculous. The world's kind of crazy right now.
It's fucked.
It's wild. So what are your goals with your career in fashion or art?
So right now I work in Chicago for a designer. But then at home, I do commissions to make just money on the side. But eventually, I think I really want to stick with the wedding business right now. I think that I have a lot of, visions to make other people's imagination come to life with that. And it's formal and it's intricate, and I like doing that stuff. And meeting new people, collaborating, so much fun with them because it's fun when they can tell you what they want and then you can make it, and just seeing their face and when they love it, it's great. And then I really want to get back into selling my art because I think that's just a solid way of income. And I like doing it. Like, it's not just about the money, but like that you never have to retire from. You can make art for the rest of your life.
Right.
And I don't know, it's just cool to have all the archives when you keep them.
Of course. I mean, seeing you progress as an artist and fashion designer, it's like hearing your story is so cool, like how it started from the beginning of you were just 4 years old drawing and doodling, and now you're, designing wedding dresses. Like, do you ever look back, like when you first started, and be like, wow, this is kind of crazy that now I'm designing pieces for a fashion show and building a wedding dress? Like, how's it cool, or what do you look back at? What are your thoughts on looking back at your whole entire art career?
Art is just, I don't know, blows my mind, like all the opportunities I've gotten to do. And I was literally just a kid who liked to draw, and then I just kept on going with it. And fashion, seeing how far I've gotten with that in 4 years is just insane. Like, I never would have thought that I would have made someone's wedding dress, and I'm still making wedding dresses for people. If you asked me that 4 years ago, I'd be like, absolutely not, because I didn't like it. But now I do, and I don't know, it's so cool. And showing that to other people, like Grandma loves it.
Oh, she does.
My Nana loves it. I mean, I don't know, seeing their feedback is hilarious, and it's awesome.
This was really cool to do, just to get like a inside perspective of an artist and fashion, mindset and creativity and stuff like that. So I appreciate you coming on and doing this with me. I'm going to tag all your socials. Sophia Born Creates, right?
I think I changed
Born.
it.
Okay.
But
whatever it is, I'll tag it. I'll make sure. But just seeing you doing your thing, being creative, putting your visions, into reality. It's really cool. Having you as a cousin is like really, it's awesome. All you Born girls are always going to do great things and stuff like that. So,
thanks, man.
I think the Born's got something.
We got something going. We got that drive.
Yeah, I know what it is. Like, we definitely do. Your dad, whatever, came from Papa Chuck, and Papa Chuck's a badass.
Yes.
So the Born bloodline runs deep.
I swear.
And we're going to do good things. But Sophie, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Max,
this is really
for having
fun. We'll do this again when you do a big project or whatever, and you're selling your whatever stuff. You're going to build and design stuff like that. But thank you.
Yeah.
Right on.
Thank you.
That was cool.